pups! RP here, and today I'm counting down moments from my childhood that were probably the most terrifying in my opinion. It's most likely you won't agree with my opinions, but that's alright. Keep in mind that I'm pinpointing moments in my childhood from all types of media that terrified the crap out of me. So it'll mostly consist of Pokemon, cartoons, etc. Unfortunately, moments like Majora's Mask and various other types of games, shows, and movies won't appear on this list. That being said, let's begin! Larry Boy and the Fifth from Outer Space. I already spoke about this in a top 20 video, but I'll sum it up. Basically, one of the first episodes of Larry Boy and VeggieTales, the publisher wanted it to be a sci-fi Batman parody for Tim Burton's Batman. He kinda did it all too well. Unsettling music? Check. A monster rampaging and causing destruction upon a city? Check. Almost eating the hero? Checkamundo. Nightmare fuel to last for years for various children? Check. The episode itself was one of the darkest in VeggieTales, but the Fib has lost his scare effect on me, and we don't really see him anymore after all that. Coraline. I only first watched the movie when I was 12, and it was beautiful, but also kind of scary. The first part of the movie gives off of what Coraline's life seems to look like, with busy and neglectful parents, had a very eccentric and spontaneous quote-unquote neighbors who seemed a little crazy, and enters the other world where everything is what Coraline dreams of it to be. The other mother is kind and showers Coraline with treats, gifts, and so much more. The other father plays the piano and is a little more like Coraline's real father, a boy named Wybie, whom happens to be a know-it-all, ends up having his mouth sewn shut, which is actually very unsettling and scary once you think about it. And is more of a close friend to Coraline. The neighbors have wonderful performances and a pretty cool mouse circus. Aw, it's so cute! That is until the other mother wants Coraline to have buttons for eyes, like everyone else. After Coraline refuses and escapes, the other mother kidnaps her parents, and Coraline makes a deal with her so she can be free to play a game. And let's just say the other mother doesn't give up so easily. Trust me, watch the movie, read the book, not in that order, thank me for the nightmare fuel later. Scarsnout from the Rugrats movie. While the movie credits call him the Wolf, and he's referred to as such throughout the movie, it gives him all the suspense he needs to be scary. While wolves in media are depicted to be untrustworthy, scary, and bloodthirsty monsters, I, as a huge dog person, believe all dogs are good boys. And girls, I don't judge. And wolves are no exception. Wolves are good babies too. And they don't really attack unless they or their whole pack feels threatened, and are more scared of humans than we are of them, unless they're possibly rabid. Yes, to get a few rabid ones now and then, but since they're wild dogs, it can't really be helped, seeing as there's no wilderness vet for wolf packs everywhere, as unfortunate as that is. It's actually kind of sad. But I could be wrong on that. Correct me if I am. But back on topic. I loved the Rugrats as a kid, and it happened to be one of my favorite Nicktoon shows, and it still is to this day alongside classic SpongeBob, Invader Zim, Jimmy Neutron, and the Wild Thornberries. Nick Jr. shows don't count here, as sad as that is. When the movie was hyped up, it basically showed one of the biggest baby adventures yet. No imagination sequences, new baby character that everyone seems to hate for their own reasons that I don't really understand, but again, I don't judge. I think they only included a brief mention of Scarsnout in one of the trailers, as well as a reveal. But as stated earlier, he's given suspense throughout the movie. When we first see him, we hear growls and only see his ears upon hearing the babies. Then we end up hearing howling from him, which makes it more eerie. Then we see what he attempts to do to Angelica, which is he's about to eat her, before Spike ends up getting scared off and saves her. Then near the end of the film, he attempts to attack the babies and Spike saves them once again, then tries to meet Angelica again before Spike pulls him off the bridge. Though nowadays, after looking back at the movie, I think Scarsnell pretty much took the whole big bad wolf shtick to shame, compared to some of the other characters like the Trio of Danger from Dragon Ball Super, and Ulrich aka Wolf Run from Glitter Force, the Netflix English dub edition of Pretty Cure. The Pagemaster. I think I remember seeing this movie at a young age. I don't know how old I was, but I was definitely under the age of 10 at the time. I think my grandparents had this movie and I decided to watch it. I've maybe seen it once or twice as a kid, but aside from the paint chase scene, when Richard and his new friends enter the horror genre, I mean one of the most famous book characters, Dr. Jekyll, this is when things get into jump scare territory. If you already don't know the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, to summon it for you, Dr. Jekyll makes a potion that turns him into the evil, cruel, and demonic Mr. Hyde. I say demonic because Dr. Jekyll kind of turns into a demon when he turns into Mr. Hyde, and you get the picture. When Jekyll drinks the potion and transforms into Hyde, well, let's just show the clip.
Dr. Jekyll?
Dr. J?
My name is Mr. Hyde!
Jesus Christ! That still scares me to this day. I guess we all know who started the jump scare gimmicks. Lovely. Alien Vision from Ed, Edd n Eddy. Ed, Edd n Eddy was one of my favorite Cartoon Network shows, but when they had the Alien Invasion specials for their other shows, such as Foster's, Laszlo, Billy and Mandy, and even Ed and Eddy, the hype was big. Really big. Okay, maybe not that big, but you get the picture. Though the episodes seemed a little more darker because aliens are pretty terrifying, to be honest. The Ed and Eddy Alien special was the big one. Basically, the episode starts off with Jimmy having a nightmare and similar things happen in the real world that kind of give him like Vietnam PTSD like flashbacks. Poor kid needs a therapist, which frightens the entire cast of characters too. Yes, we put in some slapstick jokes and other comedical events here and there in the episode, but this one was more eerie and unsettling. I couldn't pinpoint why the episode disturbed me as a kid, but years later, I figured out the reason now. Because it played off like a sci-fi film and had similar tones and emotions the Aliens movie could muster. If they put a xenomorph in that episode, I would have ran out the room screaming in fear. But the ending was what gave it a twist and threw everyone for a loop. The thing that happened actually happened. The aliens took away a huge chunk of the cul-de-sac, and everyone acts like nothing happened. Yeah. That's nice. Moving on. Lavender Town from Pokemon. I know, cliche choice, but hear me out. When I was a young teenager, I didn't think much about Lavender Town then. That is until the following. Dead Pokemon, creepypasta, Ghost Marowak Mama, Team Rocket are murderers, creepypastas, eerie music, unsettlingness of Lavender Town as a whole, and did I mention creepypastas? Basically, the creepypastas are about Lavender Town's music making kids go absolutely insane and taking their own lives. And then there was the story about Buried Alive, and then there was an overpopulation of Lavender Town creepypastas. Yeah. I'm sure every Pokemon fan out there can agree with me about Lavender Town, among other things. Well, maybe a small handful of them, but you get the picture. I picked Lavender Town for number 5 because it stuck with me the most. And because I'm a huge Pokemon fan. Wormy from SpongeBob SquarePants. I talked about this before in a previous video, but this episode is why I'm terrified of bugs. Wormy's a caterpillar turned into a butterfly, gets 3 unnecessary and very unsettling close-up jump scares throughout the episode, and that gave me nearly 5 years of nightmares. Thanks, SpongeBob. Thanks for that. Ridley and Meta Ridley from Metroid. Okie dokie, I'm only going for Super Smash Bros. Brawl here. I did try and play some of my old GameCube Metroid games, but unfortunately I didn't get a chance to finish either of them. So I only know Metroid and Ridley from Super Smash Bros. Brawl. In one of the stages, Samus and Pikachu enter what appears to be some kind of lab area. Then, death from above, Ridley attack! Okay. I'm not doing the death metal voice again. Then Pikachu uses Thunderbolt, saving Samus, and honestly, this surprised me more than anything. And unlike Meta Ridley, there wasn't a time limit. Thank Arceus for that. If I'm correct in saying so, of course. But it was pretty scary. Meta Ridley, however, that was probably the most nerve-wracking thing I ever had to deal with in a video game. Time limit, trying to use all the characters I have to defeat Meta Ridley. And the sad part is, Samus can never have closure because of Ridley's crazy-ass immortality. Dude, what the fuck is Ridley? Some kind of god or something? Oh yeah. Cat's Motel from Courage the Cowardly Dog. A lot of people would have expected Freaky Fred, the Crazy Vet, the Fetus from Hell, or even freaking King Ramses with the Return the Slab! But I chose Cat's Motel for the biggest reason of them all. Spiders! Mother fucking spiders! Those are things I can't handle, and for some reason, the big scaredy cat I was as a child could handle that episode. Why? I don't know. Nowadays, this episode freaks me out because spiders, and I am an extreme arachnophobe. Heck, I can't even pull up or barely even look at a picture of any spider of any kind without getting freaked the fuck out by it. The spiders in this episode are extremely unnerving to me. But what's the thing that freaked me out the most as a kid that tops this thing? Let's find out. Him from the Powerpuff Girls. Probably cliche, I know, but again, hear me out. One of the first times I saw him was in the episode Octi Evil. At first it kinda goes well, then near the climax he transforms Bubbles' possessed Octi doll into a giant octo monster. And the memories from Fit from Outer Space resurfaced into my childlike mind. Hello darkness, my old friend. Then there was the episode Tough Love, where he turned everyone against the Powerpuff Girls. Yeah, it was sad, unsettling, and very freaky. The biggest jump scare was the professor's sudden rage towards his own creations, and him just got more disturbing from there in that episode. Then the one that every Powerpuff fan remembers the most, Speed Demon. I don't think I need to explain the episode since it's already been talked to death about. Him didn't even need to lift a finger in his god form. And I think afterwards him just became a somewhat comedical character to make him less scary. Still, the mental scars never fade from this character. Ever. Oh boy. And that being said, if you have a horrific nostalgic childhood memory, be sure to leave it in the comments and we can all look back and laugh or cry. Anyways, cue the outro. RP is out. I need to take a nap. Peace. Comfort me, plushies.